Awesome. Thank you. All right. I call the meeting of the Sanborn Regional School Board to order. We'll stand for the pledge. Right behind everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you. All right. So we do have one member that has joined us remote. Ken is remote. Ken, can you hear me?
I'm on.
Great. All right. So can you just state your name, where you are located, and if there is anyone with you?
My name's Ken Hamilton. I'm currently in New Haven, Connecticut, and I'm alone in my room.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Do I have any action on the minutes for September 6th, 2023?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right. Since Ken is remote, we're going to have to roll call everything tonight. So we'll start Heather,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Heather. Heather. I just said Heather. My brain is fried. Maura, Micah,
Yes.
and myself. Yes. I'm going to make you all say your names and then yes or no. All right. I will sign manifest documents and send them right around. Tom, nominations and resignation.
Thank you. Have one nomination, Deborah Severance, reading interventionist for the Memorial School.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
We don't have to roll call.
Yeah, we do. Heather,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Maura,
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
myself. Yes. Okay.
Resignations.
Yep.
I have Shannon DeLay, reading specialist at the Bakey School, and Christy Lawton, PE teacher. And at the high school, Jace Lamar, math teacher.
I make a motion with regrets. Second.
Great. All in favor? Heather,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Maura,
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
and myself. Yes. Okay. Superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to thank everyone again for a wonderful opening to the year. We have a very full agenda this evening with some great presentations by students, and we'll be hearing from them and some staff, which I'm really looking forward to. I did want to mention, and I'm assuming that Rebecca will elaborate on homecoming week. So I'll just say, I hope you can join us on Saturday for homecoming. We will have a big parade in the morning and then all kinds of great activities and games throughout the day, and to be capped off by a dance from 6:30 to 9:30. And I don't want to steal Rebecca's thunder, so I'm going to leave my comments at that for this evening. Thanks again for a great start to the year.
If nobody is opposed, I will circle right to Rebecca's report so she can elaborate more, and then we can come back and do any subcommittee reports. Is everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
Awesome. All right.
So like Mr. Ambrose said, this week is homecoming and we've been having spirit days all week. And this Saturday, we're having a parade in the morning and all 4 grades are decorating a float. And then there'll be multiple sports games where all 4 grades are also having their own food booth. And then we'll have the football game and the dance after that at night from 6:30 to 9:30. Also, 2 high school chorus members will be representing Sanborn at the Jazz All-State on October 21st. River DeFeo and Ellie Paris in home base science class with Miss Trudeau. They raised 2 monarch butterflies and they let them out yesterday. And the National Honor Society is going to be participating in making strides against cancer on October 20th in Exeter. The girls basketball team, with help from some of the boys basketball team, did a major exchange for Reach the Beach this past Saturday. And they helped by selling concessions and parking vans and directing traffic. Many runners commented that it was one of the best exchange points they had, and players and parents should be celebrated for representing Sanborn and the pride that they took in the event. They had over 2,500 people and 340 running teams move through the exchange.
Wow. Thank you.
And just so nobody forgets, field hockey plays Friday and there's going to be Kona ice. So that's going to be the first kickoff game. So
Nice.
Fakey Boosters had an exchange too, and that
Yeah.
was.
yes, they did. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. So exciting.
Thank
Lots
you
of
to the
great
folks
stuff.
on the board that volunteered. Thank you.
All right. So we will move into subcommittee reports. Are there any subcommittee reports tonight?
And keeps getting canceled.
No, sorry.
You can do.
I'll go last. Last time Finance Committee met, we of course approved the previous. We read that Mr. Angel reviewed heating oil contract, which was awarded to Palmer Gas at for $2.77 cents a gallon for 75,000 gallons. We talked about the DOE 25 and MS 25 and talked about the intended surplus to be returned to taxpayers of $681,000, 796 cents. I'm sorry, $681,796.72. We went over some budget adjustments and the trust fund balances.
Anyone else?
I went to SSD.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Great.
wanted to fill people in.
Thank you.
I went to the SST meeting on Monday night and I just wanted to mention that they've begun their budgeting process and they are having some conversations about their future and I am very much in support of the idea of potentially adding an electrical program and a cybersecurity program. And they are also talking about a cosmetology program. So I've been trying to get the electrical program for I bring it up every year. I think it's important. I'd like to see HVAC, but that's a really hard program to run. And one of the biggest problems with electrical is finding a teacher. So, because electricians make so much and the market's so good.
And they are so far out right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want some of our students who are motivated to enter that career. It would help a lot of people. So
Absolutely.
The cosmetology too. There's a lot of
Yes.
students that go to other places because they don't have it.
Yeah. And
Yep.
Let
and
me put in
they're working on it.
I want to put in a plug for cybersecurity too.
Yeah, I agree.
Hugely in demand field.
That's the easiest one to create because it's computer based. The cosmetology is tricky because of the chemicals and the size of the program, the physical space. Electricity is hard because of getting people to teach it.
Couple challenges.
Yep.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. All right. We will move on to first public comment. All right. New business. Acceptance of donations. Jen. Actually, what time is it? That one's a public hearing. That one's at 6:30, right? Okay, we have to wait. We're a few minutes early on that. Okay, can we move on to the overnight field trip for the statewide student council meeting at Waterville Valley?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mrs. Harvey, would the students like to,
We're
would
gonna
they
go
like
up there.
to hook up to the projector? They're good?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so hi, I'm Mary Varney. I am the president of student council for this year. I'm Tori Gibson. I'm the president of the senior class council and the secretary of the student council. And then Ms. Harvey's our student council advisor. And we're just here to present Waterville Valley. It's an overnight field trip with the state student councils. We attended it last year and we've been attending it for quite a few years now. But last year was the first time since COVID that we could go. It's in Waterville Valley, New Hampshire. And it's held at the Waterville Hotel, the conference center. Yeah, It begins at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday, November 8th, and it ends at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, November 9th. And really what we do there is we participate in leadership workshops and like things that we can do to help our community, really working together with all the different student councils from the state and learning on what we can do to work together, as a state council and really work forward to how to improve our schools and our communities. And like learn how to like network, how we can include more people in the council, get the community involved.
One of the major events that we plan is the homecoming and winter carnival. And because of the workshop last year, we learned how to send better emails and write better letters to people and asking for help. And we've extended it to now the whole community with the parade Saturday morning. So I'd say the workshops really helped last year. And on top of that, we also have keynote speakers. So last year we had a woman named Kate Garnes. She was a motivational speaker, and she told us about, she taught us how to sort of put yourself out there and to network and how to really motivate yourself to do things that you want in life. And then this year we have Ted Wise. We haven't heard much about him, but he is a nationally recognized speaker. So we're very excited to hear from him if we are allowed to go. And then for cost, so the students is $200 each, but it's an extra $50 for like an own bed or if there's less than 4 students in a room. And that does not include the transportation costs, but it includes like the hotel room, the conference events, all the meals, and then the entertainment that we do that evening on the last. And so then just a little bit more about why this field trip is so important to us. Last year, it was our first time attending it as juniors. And we hadn't really known a lot of people in the council. We had almost a new council last year with newly elected members. And even just the trip up there was like a really great bonding experience for us. We were in a pretty small bus. It was tightly packed with all of our luggage in there and everything like that. But I met a lot of the underclassmen that I'm working really closely with a lot this year too. Which just helps when like making homecoming and all that kind of stuff. We have a lot that each grade has to do. And if we know each other better, it really helps to plan things and make sure that our freshmen aren't too stressed out in the new environment and with all the stuff they have to do, and our sophomores as well. And it really shows them how to keep student council going in the next few years. And it really also taught us how to keep the community alive and how to have better leadership skills and event planning. We also made really great connections with the other schools. We recognized as an honor council there every year as well. As an honor council, we do some extra things. We do really, we have to do a fundraiser and some other criteria to meet it. So as an honor council of the state, it's really important that we show up there and we kind of not prove ourselves, but show who we are as a council and why we have that honor. And then just meeting the other schools from around the state is really awesome for us too. We met a lot of people from last year, and we have our county our county student council meetings, but it's the statewide. So we see all the people from up north, all the people that we wouldn't normally see and meet students. And I've connected with a lot of people there, and I've met them doing other things around the state. So it's really cool to make those connections and to learn about what they do and hopefully bring some of that back for us too. I think that's everything.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. I don't know if anybody has any questions for them before we take a motion and deliberate. Yeah,
Can I just make a comment? or is that-
absolutely.
I just want to say what a great job you brought back, how you guys learned about events and leadership, and you brought it back to homecoming. And I just wanted to say, I'm really excited for it as someone who, my kids are in middle school, but my daughter was talking about how she's going to be in the parade. She's in 7th grade. She's going to be in the parade, and that tomorrow their field hockey practice starts late because they're actually helping float. So I'd like a big kudos to you. I know when I went to Sanborn, we called it Indian Festival and it was a different thing. But there was just so much excitement around it. And I just want to say, I think you guys are doing a great job. So the conference obviously taught you guys some cool stuff, and great job.
Thank you.
So I see that there are 20 projected students for this year. Is that the same as similar as last year?
Yeah. It's 17.
I think it's 17. We have, because homecoming is early, we haven't done our honorary.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
But Rebecca will.
You see that?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Well, I was excited when, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, great job. I love seeing our future leaders get these skills and workshops. We need more leaders in the world. And, I'm really happy to support this endeavor.
I was really excited to see this on the agenda because last year, the presentation was great as well. I was really excited for everybody that got to go last year, and I'm really excited for you all to get to go again this year. And I love that you talked about how much it strengthened all of you. And that's huge. So I'm really glad that you hopefully, I don't see why we wouldn't, all get to go. And I can't wait to see what everyone comes back with from this experience. So do I have any other comments, or do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the State Student Council meeting overnight at Waterville Conference Center.
Great.
Second.
Great. All right. Any further discussion? All roll call vote. Heather,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Maura,
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
and myself. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Have fun.
I'd be able to have Ellie do hers when it's done.
Oh, okay.
It's just her.
All right. So Sanborn Regional High School summer trip to Scandinavia in July of 24.
Oh, well.
Is this
This is one of these.
Okay, then I'm
Oh,
moving so I can see.
Got anything on that here?
Yeah, it's further. It's like
Okay,
page
6. Thank you, Heather.
Oh, that's very nice. All right. Okay. Oh, yes.
I'm going to speak from here. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. Hi, I'm Kelly Cleghorn. Thank you again for allowing me to do this. Last summer, actually this past summer in July, I came up 13 months ago. I came in front of you and I asked if I could take a group of students to Italy and Greece. And you said yes. And we went in July. We left on July 7th. We came back on July 15th. And Mary was with us, and we had an amazing time. We survived the heat wave of the summer of 2023. So that alone is kudos. This time, after we were done, they're like, we'd go anywhere with you, Miss Cleghorn, but this time, can we please go north? So I said, sure, we don't want heat waves again. So I'm like, let's go to Scandinavia, guys. So this is the Scandinavian capitals that EF Tours come up with. So our itinerary, it's very similar to the one, if you remember from last year. These are all the things that we'll talk about. I'm Kelly Cleghorn, and why I travel. These are pictures that I took of our students this summer. We went to archaeological sites. We saw where the first Olympics were held. We had one of our graduates from last year who is running this year at St. Anselm. He got to run the track that the original Olympians got to run. He got to stand in front of the first Olympic stadium and get his picture taken with the rings. And I was like, oh, cool. And then we got to listen to guides in Athens talk to us about what it was like. The far one over to the left is we got to see where the gladiators trained in Pompeii. So we did a lot of educational stuff, but we also had some fun. We went to a Greek night where we got to watch traditional Greek dancers. We learned to belly dance. The top picture is, if you in the background, that's Pompeii, and Mount Vesuvius is in the background. So we got to see that. We got gelato. We saw the Acropolis. That was one of the hottest days, and we got there right before they shut it down, because then it got to be like 110 that day, and they're like, you don't need to do this anymore. The picture in the middle is the guys dancing a traditional Greek dance. And then that is the group of students that I took. There were 15 students, and the gentleman on the far left, that's Armando. He was our tour guide, and he was amazing. So EF Tours is who I go with. As it says here, they've been in business for over 55 years. They go 365. They're in over 50 countries. They do have an office in Greece. They also have one in the UK and France. So they're very well established throughout the world. There are other schools that do go. It's kind of the same ones that, if you remember from last year. So there are a lot of schools in the area that do go with EF Tours. Bedford, Sauhegan, Wyndham, and Londonderry. So they're very well established. I went with EF Tours when I was 17 years old, back when the dinosaurs roamed. And I went to England and to France, and I still to this day remember it. When I taught in Arizona, I took a group of students to the UK, and we toured all the major cities of the United Kingdom. And so these are things that I reference often. And I even remember when I teach a Shakespeare unit, I'm like, yeah, I walked through Shakespeare's house when I was 17. So these are things that keep coming back to me, even after, 30 years since I've been out of high school. And when we were there, we had gone because I had taught mythology last year, and they're like, hey, I remember us reading about this. And then they got to act it out at one of the sites. So that was fun. If I could put videos on here, you could see our students acting out parts to different things. So this year, the capitals of Scandinavia, I had asked for the 2-day extension this time because originally it was 9 days. You could do an extension for 11, and that got us 5 countries. So we'd fly into Oslo, we'd go to Copenhagen, we'd go to Stockholm, we'd take a ferry over to Helsinki, and then we'd go to Tallinn in Estonia. So that's why it's the 11 days. This is our itinerary, and the students will get this. If it is approved, they'll be able to see. We'll do an overnight flight to Norway. We'll probably land sometime morning, beginning early afternoon, and we hit the ground running. And Mary can vouch for that one. You go and you go. And then when you get home, all you want to do is when you get back to the hotel, it's just like, please just let me lay down for 5 minutes before I have to get back up and do it again. But they get used to it, and they're like, okay, this is fun. Where to now? So we'll go to Oslo. We'll take an overnight ferry into Copenhagen. We'll tour all the sites that are there. This one does give it chance to go on 3 excursions, and the price that you'll see at the end is with all 3 excursions. That is totally up to the students if they want to do them. The only one I personally would want to do would be the Elsnor Kleinborg Castle, and that's because that's the inspiration for Shakespeare's Hamlet. I mean, I'm an English teacher. Of course, I'd want to see that one. Then the students go on to Stockholm. We get to go on a walking tour. Then we take another overnight ferry to Helsinki. We get to see all of the government place, all the great things that Helsinki has to offer. Then I believe it is a day trip that we take another ferry across so we can go to Tallinn, Estonia. And we get to see all of the interesting things there. And then we would depart for home on day 11. When we departed this time, we went from Athens, and we had to be at the airport for a 6 a.m. flight. And it was like an hour from our hotel. So we had to be up at 2 a.m., which means we never went to sleep. And I should have put the picture up here, but I have a picture of like all of our students just like passed out in the port because I don't think any of us remember our flight from Athens to Rome because I think some of us fell asleep before the plane even took off. That's how tired we were. We were ready to get home. So these are some of the things that we would see: the Christianborg Castle, and of course, I want to see the Little Mermaid statue because Hans Christian Andersen and all of that fun stuff. English teacher, so I have to hit all the English places. And then Elsinore Castle, which is the inspiration for Hamlet. That's, like I said, that's one of the only excursions that I would really like to go to, but it's totally up to the students since it's for them. It's not for me. I just want them to be able to enjoy what is out there for them. And then we get to see all the fjords of the Baltic Sea. When we were this summer, I told them, like, guys, think about this. You've swam in the Mediterranean. You've crossed the Aegean. You've gone through the, I can't remember what the strait is, but like we saw all of these major seas and bodies of water that you see on a map. And they're like, wow, I never thought about it. I'm like, yeah, who else in Kingston can say they swam in the Mediterranean? And they're like, yeah, that's cool. So they have pictures of them like in a lake and putting their feet into the different water. So these are the fjords of the Baltic Sea, where like not only can we cross off countries, but we can cross off major bodies of water too. So these are the travel dates. I wanted to go earlier this year, only because of the summer heat wave from this year kind of shied me away from things. I've requested the 27th of June through July 7th. The earliest that they said we could leave would be June 23rd, which I believe it's the Sunday after we get out of school. I know the students got out earlier, but then the teachers are here. So the Sunday after that, and the latest that we would be back would be July 11th, but they do try and go towards what you request. So they're usually pretty good with that because they do match us with other schools. This past year, we met up with a group from Knoxville, Tennessee. We met up with a group from San Antonio, Texas. So not only do they get to see different countries, but they get to meet people from other places within the United States. I do know that they are still in contact with some of the people from Tennessee. So they did make a few friends. And there was a couple times when, because of our group numbers, they had to share cabins. So they got to meet people that are just like them, but from a different state. And so it was kind of neat to see them interact with that. Pretty much what does the trip entail? You get everything except for your lunch and souvenirs is what your price includes. Now, is it going to be American style food? No, you get the food of the country. So that took some getting used to, but when they're hungry, they'll eat. And if not, they learn how to pack snacks. So there was a lot of that. You get breakfast at the hotel. You go all day, your lunch on your own, and then they have dinner for you when you come back to the hotel or at a different restaurant. We ate some amazing food. One of my students were like, I love spanakopita. I have to make this every time I turned around. The child had a spanakopita thing in his hand. And I'm like, how many of those did you buy? He's like, don't ask. So he fell in love with the food, and actually we all did, I think. So it pays for everything: the guide, the sightseeing tours, all the entrances to things that we get into. We do have a tour guide that we get that stays with us 24/7. We are fortunate to have a wonderful tour guide this summer. His name was Armando, and he was amazing. He was perfecto. He's like, you will talk like me before you leave. And we all were like, perfecto. So we still say it to each other when we see each other in the hall. He's never been to the United States. And it just so happens that he will be coming for the first time ever into the United States in November. And he's coming to Boston. And I'm like, well, let us know when you're here and we'll have a reunion, or we'll take you out to dinner and we'll show you Boston. We will show you what you showed us. And so he's like, perfecto. So that's what we're going to do. What the students are responsible for, these are our lovelies. They were waiting for the ferry from Bari, Italy, going to Patras, Greece. So they have to have their passports and visas if applicable, which I know that starting now they have to have some type of, it's not a visa, but they change the regulations. So we'll let them know about that. Baggage fees, if they go over, you get free baggage for like your first bag, just like with anything else. If you go over, depending on the airline, you do have to pay for it. We have to give tips to our local guides, our bus driver, and of course, our wonderful tour director. And then any snacks, and some meals is the lunch, or if they see like at the Piazza, they're like, hey, there's a meat place. Let's go get some spanakopita, or not the prosciutto. They went and bought 1.5 pounds of prosciutto, and it was like, oh, so good. They're like, this is our breakfast, our lunch, and our dinner. So why do I partner with EF? Like I said, I went with EF when I was younger. When I was 17, I went with them. They're great people. They're very communicative. If I have an issue, they're right there for me. And our safety, and that's our girls on in where is it? Tolfi. We were supposed to go to a archaeological site, but it was 102, and they're like, it's closed, so let's go on a boat ride in crystal blue water. And we're like, heck yes. So that's our mondo. We get local support, we get safety if anything happens. They do have rigorous health standards, and of course we have our tour director who is there for us 24/7. And then the students can get high school credit. They can get a 0.5 of high school credit. They can get an ELO. Miss Allie had said that that is fine. Like they have to do work, of course, to get it, but that is an option. And they can get 3 college credits. It's for a small fee. I want to say it's like $250, $275, but they can get 3 college credits from SNHU as well, if they choose to do that. And actually, teachers can also get college credit from SNHU towards a master's as well from it. It's, of course, there's a small fee and there's work that you have to do. It does help with the college essays. I had a couple students are like, what am I going to write about? I'm like, write about what we went through in Europe. I mean, it was 110 degrees and you guys don't know how to hydrate. So write about that. And they're like, yeah, you're right. I survived. I'm like, exactly. We all need to make t-shirts that said I survived. And then kind of the change of mind, like what do they hope? Growth mindset, which I had students tell me. I actually had a parent tell me that this trip was amazing because even though these students have been together, a lot of them since they were in kindergarten, and they were kind of the same like friend group, and they knew each other, but they didn't really know these students on a personal level. And they're like, oh my gosh, if I hadn't have gone on this trip, I wouldn't have known this person and how great they are. And they're funny. And I never would have seen that because we didn't have classes together. And students were like, this opened my eyes to a lot of things, like, travel is great and I need to bring back what I learned and I need to bring it back to what I do in my life. And I'm like, exactly. We went to the Vatican, and when you look at the Sistine Chapel, like I saw students with tears in their eyes because they're like, oh my gosh, this is real. So the mindset, the global perspective, the impact that it has on the students themselves. And then this is what we get from EF. We get a consultant, we get a support team, we get a group leader, and of course, our great and wonderful tour director. Perfecto. When we book, you can give travel protection, and there's travel protection plus, and then there is an enrollment time. So if you enroll and and you pay it's a $95 to hold it. And then if you decide within 14 days that like, maybe we can't do this, or I don't want to, or let's do something else, or it doesn't meet up with our dates, or one person last year was like, it interfered with sports because they were a junior and they were going into an important summer before their senior year. They have 14 days to get 100% money back if they choose to do that. This is scholarships. They do offer one. You just have to apply for it. And they have things for fundraising. Basically what it is you do something like you babysit, and instead of getting money, you're like, hey, can you just, instead of giving me the money for babysitting, can you just put the money into this account because it's going towards my my trip? Or and still, like, grandma calls and says, what do you want for Christmas? And you're like, hey, just put money into this account. so that I can go on this trip. So they have ways that we can do fundraising if the students choose to. I don't mind helping them. But a lot of them, they said they work for it. So everything we get the itinerary, the logistics, the payment protection, safety, and personal learning, which I actually think that's the best part of it, is just growing from the experience. And down there at the bottom, the picture at the bottom is actually the boys at a museum. My husband was one of the chaperones, and he was talking to them about the different artwork. I think it was like clay statues or something like that. And so they're all like having this great conversation. I was like, I got to take that picture. And now this is the part everybody wants to know. So you can pay $283 every 2 weeks, and that is with a $95 deposit. You can pay about $566 a month. Again, $95 down is really all you need. The grand total is $50.99 if you pay it in full, but that is with the 3 excursions. So it could be less. And if they enroll before mid-October, I don't have the exact date, but I want to say it's like the 15th or so of October, they get $100 off. And if they are a repeat traveler, then they get another $100 off. So the discounts bring it to $48.99, and it's 11 days. It would be less if they don't want to do the 11 days and they only want to do the original 9. Of course, that number will be less, and I can change it if that's what they prefer. So that is it. Any questions, comments?
Actually, I have a question.
Yes.
Last year you talked about how you were doing the unit in Greek mythology.
Mhm.
So you have something in mind that you're going to be teaching that has to do with the Scandinavian countries?
This one is it kind of because especially with the seniors are doing mythology again. And they do encompass not just Greek mythology, but they also encompass the other, they do Norse mythology, and they do, I think they do like another European. I know Mr. Beebe does those. So it's not just open to my kids, it's juniors and seniors. I will be doing Hamlet with some of my students. So that goes with that. The short stories, Hans Christian Andersen, his stories come out of this area as well. So we read a lot of excerpts that have to do with these areas. So I'm tying it in with that way.
Awesome.
Yep. Any other questions? Yes.
Fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Looks like a fantastic trip and opportunity. So my assumption, I'm going to clarify with you, is that this company's been around a long time. They've been doing this a long time.
Yes.
So should there be geographical safety concerns in that area, that's something that they are paying attention to?
They do. Yes. So last year, with coming off of COVID and all of that, we were told originally that like we would have to wear our mask when we went on transportations in Greece. And then as it went through, they were like, okay, now it's been like brought back that you don't have to do that. So they are constantly updating what the safety protocols are. And they also do have a plan that if they do get sick abroad to the point where, say, they come down with COVID, basically the parents get a free trip to Europe and have to sit in a hotel until everyone is cleared, and then they get to go home. So they have all these things in place for them. And actually, a couple of the students got sick while they were there because of the temperature change and all of that. I was just like, hey, what do I need to do with this? They gave me, I have Greek cough medicine now for the students. So they take illness very seriously, and they make sure that if something was to happen, they'll cancel the trip. Like if God forbid, something were to happen beforehand and they didn't deem that it was safe, they would definitely call it back. And because that happened to me in the early 2000s with something.
Sure. I
And
should have clarified. Sorry, I wasn't referring to health or sickness. and security.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The safety of the.
Oh,
area,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So if there should be a
A threat.
terrorist in the
Yep.
area, that's something that they're
Yep.
paying attention to.
They are very much so. Yep. Because that actually happened when I went to Europe, like when I was 17 with they had a strike or something and they had to reroute us and they had to keep us away from it. And so, yeah, so no, safety is number one for them. And they will let us know. Like I said, I had a trip planned many years ago and something happened. They're like, we're canceling it. Everyone's getting a full refund. We don't want to risk it. So they do keep that in mind. Yes.
I was here last year and I also went when I was in high school and I walked the halls of Versailles and it was something I will never forget. So I'm always for kids to travel and get those experiences.
Yes, we also had a parent that went when she went to Italy when she was 18 and she showed me a picture. She said, I want you to replicate this picture of my daughter. So we found a gelato spot and we replicated that picture for her. So yeah. So it's travel sticks with people.
I think Ken had one question.
Yes, Ken.
Yeah, how, is there a limit on the number of kids now? Do they sign up or how are they included?
So what happens is EF has given me, they say I can have up to 40 spots, but I don't want to take 40 students with me. 15 was a good number. 20 is okay. I think 18 would be the best. I always say their only requirement is that they're good humans. I mean,
And they sign up for this?
they do sign up for it. And usually it's first come, first serve. Of course, those that traveled with me first, I'm going to let them have first dibs on it. But I want to keep it under 20 because it just, after that, it just constantly having to do a head count. I'm like, stop guys, quit moving. Everyone would have to freeze. And I counted so many times. I know they got tired of me asking, are you okay? Is everything okay? Where are you? Everyone sit still. So yeah, so I want to cap it at 20, although EF does allow me to have up to 40.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't exclusionary in any way.
Nope. First come, first serve. But after, like I said, after I get to a certain point, it just becomes too much. And I want to keep my sanity.
What is your, what's the ideal chaperone to student ratio?
So EF does that for me.
Okay,
So for every 6 students that sign up, a chaperone goes for free.
6 to 1.
6 to 1. Yeah. So for every 6 students that sign up and pay, 1 adult gets to go for free. And of course,
volunteers
parents are
tribute.
welcome.
I volunteer.
Yeah, I was gonna
tribute.
Is that also first come, first serve? I mean,
Yeah.
I just sent you an email.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I beat you to it.
Any other questions?
All right. If not, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the trip to Scandinavia.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. Roll call vote. Heather,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
and myself. Yes. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. And I want to apologize to the Sanborn Seminary trustees. We are far past our time, so I apologize for that. So we will pull up, have them come on up for the public hearing for the trustee donation.
Hi, I am Jennifer Mitchison, principal at the high school. So I want to say a little bit about the trustees to start. So for those of you who don't know, the Sanborn Seminary trustees are a wonderful group of folks who went to, Sanborn, and they have decided to be part of a group that gives back and gives to our school community. You'll hear a little bit about the projects that we're looking to seek approval for this coming year. But I just want to thank them. It's been wonderful to see the work that the students have been able to participate in, which you'll see in a little while here. And we couldn't ever really pull it off without their support, without their generosity, and the donations that they've given to us over the years. I believe over the years, it's been upwards of over $1 million. I think we have a calculation somewhere. So it's just amazing. So this year, I reach out just to give you a little bit of the process. In June, I asked teachers, actually mid-May, I reach out to my staff and say, hey, who's got an idea for a grant proposal? And I give them a deadline and ask that they put the proposals forward to me. I sift through them. I might ask some questions or some clarification for a few. And then I put my package together and I bring it to the annual meeting of the trustees that they allow me to attend, which is usually in August, about the third week in August. So this year it was on August 17th. So what you'll see, I think in your packet is a little, I had a letter that has a basic summary of the grants that are being proposed this year. And I also sent forward a more specific packet that has more details around all of the grants. But like I said, in front of you, you can just kind of look at the basic understanding of each of the grants that are being proposed. The Keep Buzzing, which is to fund the installation of an indoor beehive, which we plan to have actually right here in the library. And just so you know, we've already kind of done the preliminary work with facilities. I know Mr. Doyle has helped us, and it's just been a conversation so that if we did get to a part where we were actually doing it, that we had the details worked out. The Grow Our Food. So those of you who've been in the cafeteria, you see our plant towers. So the seminary grant money always helps to support our growing our food towers, and the students get to eat the food right in the cafeteria. Then we have the Getting to Why. And I think it was so timely that Charlotte's going to present a little something later on tonight too. So this proposal takes some of our youth in action students who are part of that club and brings them to their local youth risk behavior survey data. And it helps them understand what the school's data is all about. I know we did a presentation Heidi did earlier on the YRBS data. So it gives students a chance with trained professionals to examine the data and be able to sort of be a voice and a support for their peers and for each other. So it was really, really cool opportunity. And then of course we have the human powered submarine, Sanborn Submariners. So it'll provide continuing funding for our submariner team as they look to consider building a new submarine. And then the last is the artists in residence master classes that our music program has been able to put on over the past several years. So where they are able to bring in outside music professionals, right? So not other music teachers, but people who actually play professionally, directors, people who've played around the world. And they come in and they are able to work with our students on a more individual basis in small groups to really hone in on those music skills. So those are the presentations, the grants for you tonight. And I'm looking for a motion to hopefully accept all of the donations.
All right, I think we should start off by saying thank you so very much for all the work you put in to get this all together, and to the trustees for blessing us with, this is tremendous. I mean, absolutely phenomenal for our students. This is huge. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. And I know the students really appreciate it. Any questions, comments? Heather?
I just love how well-rounded it is.
Yeah.
It covers every avenue of our students. You know, it covers from music to sustainability to mental health to STEM. I just think it's great how well-rounded these are, and it will really benefit our students and our community too.
So I just wanted to mention, Mr. Enright has some students here that would like to do a small presentation about the submarine. And they also wanted to say thank you to the trustees for, without the funding that the trustees provided, this couldn't happen. So we are super, super grateful for that. I also just wanted to mention that being a musician myself, I can't tell you how grateful I am. Bringing in specialists to work with the kids in music is really important because although we have wonderful general music teachers, specialists know their instruments in a very different way and really provide a great service to the kids to learn specific parts of how to play instruments that my wife taught music for 18 years and she plays the flute. It's amazing, but she's not the best guitar player. So we swap roles, right? So I would help the kids with guitar and I'm never touching a flute again because I'm horrible at it. So musicians are very diverse and I just really happy to see that. Thank you so much. So if we could have Jim Enright have the students.
You got a thing, Rick?
You can accept it first if you want, but I just wanted to have recognize the seminary trustees. So
Yeah.
either way is fine.
I make a motion to accept.
Thank you.
Great.
Second.
All right. Roll call. Any further discussion? No. All right. We'll roll call. Heather,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
Maura,
Yes.
Micah,
Yes.
and myself. Yes. Thank you so much. All right,
Thank you.
Mr. Enright, you and your team would like to come up.
Sure what's up. Do you mind if I undo this thing? Oh.
Want to see it? Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad I sit over here. I don't have to play musical chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can build a human powered submarine and just can't plug in the CMI key.
Yep. It's okay. Everyone has their strength.
Sorry, Jim, she says that to me.
I didn't hear what she said.
That's right. I cannot, or scuba dive, and I refused, so.
First of all, thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity to present. I do want to thank the trustees. Without this grant, this project would not have been possible. We do have a short video. It's a 1-minute video. And after that, I would like to have the students speak. So.
Yes, volume's up. Should be good.
So I would like to introduce Sarah. Lucas first. Lucas is gonna go first, then Sarah, and then Paul.
Hello, everyone. Sorry that I'm a little bit underdressed. I just came back from football practice. So I am the lead designer and also captain of the submarine team. And I've been first excited about the submarine club ever since Mr. Enright told me about it about a year ago now. I think it's going to be in a few days. I was super excited to get here. And also from the beginning, I came to every dive meet there and also every UNH test. And the most thing I found exciting was actually how the sub works itself. and everything from like the rudder and the propeller, from like to the water dynamics and how that would affect the submarine. And actually, when I was in my AP Calc class, all the seniors left early because they were seniors. And then I would go and I get permission from everybody to go down to the submarine and just figure out how it works and just to mess with things, to see like how things affect different things, which was so much fun. And I would sit there for both periods because it was a double period class. I would just sit there and just have like my fun with it until I figured everything out. And that actually came a little bit helpful when we came down to Maryland, because on one of our runs, our left fin broke off because we hit the wall. And that was also a pretty bad day. We also had a really bad thunderstorm. All of our stuff got wet. It was just not a good day for us. And then the next day, we worked on it and we fixed it. We fixed how the fin works. We put like a new little pipe in there. And then after that, we actually had our first successful run when we came in second place for the high school team. And also we came into fourth place for overall. We beat Texas A&M and Virginia Tech, which are both very difficult engineering colleges. Thank you. And of course, we had our team journalist who came with us and documented all of our success.
Good evening. My name's Sarah Bufano, and I was the team's journalist. So the submarine races looked a little bit different for me. I was not under the water. Scuba diving, not my thing. I do not want to do that. But behind the camera, taking photos and documenting the team's success was more of my thing. And it was really amazing for me to be able to combine skills that aren't engineering related with an engineering project. My role was to go to all of the judges, most of which were highly trained engineers, and a couple of them were astronauts. I think her name was Heidi Marie. She had a long last name. She is on the blog that is what I created during my time at the ISR, International Submarine Race. The blog can be found at sanbornmedia.org/blog posts. I also created 2 articles which are in the Carriagetown News. You could find them if you Google Sanborn Submariners. Through my articles, Wayne Stanley, who is an engineer who served on a nuclear submarine in the Navy for 8 years, found the Sanborn Submariners and emailed Mr. Enright and is now looking to help our team. He earned his dolphins, which are the highest recognition a submariner can receive, in 1940. So it was an honor for me to be able to bring more attention to the Sanborn Submariners and bring about this project so more people know about it. We would like to thank Mr. Edelman for donating the apparel for our team. With my role as the journalist, I document all the important events. Our most important event right now is the new incoming team members, one of which is here today to share his excitement, Paulus Youssef.
Hello, my name is Paul Youssef. I'm Lucas's brother, and I'm a freshman. And last year when I was in 8th grade and I first learned about the races and Lucas was going to Maryland for a whole week, I was really jealous. And and like he learned how to scuba dive and like built a submarine, which I think is really cool. And I just want to be a part of that. And like I remember when he would come home late, I'd have to always make his lunches, and it was so bad. So tough. And yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of the program. Thank you.
Thank you.
I promised I wouldn't be too long. You guys could probably guess I could talk for hours and hours and hours. And if anyone's interested, then I'm happy to do that. But I did say that I would keep it short. So I'd like to take the remaining time to talk about what the seminary Sanborn Seminary Trustees Grant actually meant. On the surface, the generous donation that was provided provided the opportunity for a group of students, a large group of students. Those students included not just the submarine divers, the operator of it, but it was a large group of students in the shop area, whether they were welding parts of the steering mechanism or they were helping to sand and paint the hull. There were digital media students who were providing opportunities for the logo, who provided and created the website, who did a lot of marketing outreach to various organizations. And then, of course, Sarah, who wrote articles for the Carriagetown News. Her articles were also different articles that were also featured in Ms. Mitchelton's weekly newsletter. She corresponded with people. She also had the opportunity to meet an NBC news reporter while at the races. So there was this grant really there were a lot of things that followed as a result. But that's just really on the surface. If we look underneath the surface, it was a 2023 graduate who decided to attend Massachusetts Maritime Academy as a result of his experience with the submarine team, and who completed an ELO working with drones to help the submarine project. A 2023 graduate attending UMass Lowell who decided that as a result of this experience, he wanted to pursue engineering, and that's the path that he is currently on. Another 2023 graduate who's attending UNH from mechanical engineering and who, as an innovation scholar in the honors program, is working with the president of UNH, Jim Dean, who visited us, and is going to be helping us with the submarine that we would like to build as we move forward. A senior who wants to pursue a career in journalism. Who could that be? Who had the opportunity to interview and speak with a news reporter for NBC, and while at the races was also able to interview an astronaut, some very high-ranking military officials, and was really an integral part of the team in lots of different capacities. A senior with a brilliant mathematical mind who wants to pursue a degree in math and use those skills to problem solve while on the team, and is currently using those skills to design the submarine that we want to build. You have the book. So we have the engineering book, and he has already taken it upon himself to be designing many different iterations of the whether it's the mechanical engineering component of it, the design of the hull, et cetera. So those are all things that are mathematical calculations that he's working on. A digital media student who dreams of becoming a filmographer and has assembled literally thousands of pictures and hundreds of hours of video into a documentary, which I hope he will consider submitting to his film festival once he completes that. A 2023 graduate who is pursuing a degree in mechanical engineering, and his experience confirmed his interest in that field, and now attends college in Florida for mechanical engineering, but which may also lead to something in ocean engineering. And a senior who decided as a result of this experience to pursue a career in marine science. She is also completing a fellowship in marine science at the Seacoast Science Center, is completing an ELO to maintain a marine tank complete with local saltwater species, and is co-authoring a book with me about the USS Albacore. There's no way to measure the unlimited opportunities that resulted and continue to result from the very generous grant that the trustees provided. At the risk of sounding like I'm stealing a scene out of It's a Wonderful Life, I want you to know that without the trustees grant, the submarine project would not have been possible, and the resulting educational experiences would not have taken place for the countless students. And for that, we are eternally grateful. So, thank you.
Hold on just one second. Mr. Enright, before you go, I just wanted to say, you, sir, are an inspiration.
Thank you.
And I have a present for you. So we had this made for you.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Have it for your room for your first of many submarine races.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for my picture. I didn't know I was getting this. Thank you very much. I would, Mr. Enright, I would just piggyback on what Tom had to say. I had a science teacher that I remember in junior high, and That's really one of the only teachers I remember because it was fun. You know what I mean? Like I learned a lot, but I remember it just being fun. So appreciate you and everything you do. I was able to attend a lot of the meetings that I think when UNH came. And besides the fact that you beat a couple colleges, I just want to commend everybody on the team because what I got from you as a team was every time you were engaged to speak, you were very well-spoken adults. You carried yourself very well. You made the school proud, but you really represented yourselves very well. So you should be proud of that. Well,
All right.
This is
Oh, thank you.
it's the same page. It's a little smaller.
Yeah, yeah. We
Thank you.
we figured that's the one you like the most, so we guess, but yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Enright, for all that you do
Thank
for
you,
us.
Mr.
You know, we've been excited about this from day one, and we're going to continue to be excited about this because you and the students have just made this an extraordinary example for what can be done. And I'm super excited for my daughter and nieces and a lot of their friends to join the team moving forward. So I'm very excited for everything that's coming in the next few years.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Very exciting.
I just wanted to say something too. Heather's comment inspired me a little bit. I had no idea what was coming in this presentation. Like I'm blown away by what I just saw. And I just want to sum it up for a second. You get a football player comes out of practice and his God, those clothes you must be humming over there. I don't know. I didn't have to stand too close to you, but you know, this AP calculus taking football player who likes to tinker with submarines, who's the lead designer. We have a brilliant journalist amplifying the project, right? We have a wide interdisciplinary impact of the entire project, reaching a wider array of students, right? And then like, not to mention a beehive in the library, right? Sustainable food growing and youth in action initiatives. And then, and of course, a younger generation being inspired. If anybody listening is wondering, right, like what makes Sanborn stand out, it's this stuff. This is it. You know, this is what makes a unique and valuable experience. So I just say, keep going. Thank you.
And thank you to the seminary, Sanborn
Yes.
Seminary.
The trustees for making these
Yes.
possible.
And thank you for being here to hear that.
Unreal.
It means a lot to us. Here. Yes. Happy to have you.
I'd like to make a quick comment as well. So as one of the newer board members, Mike and I had the opportunity to get the invite, which I very much appreciated, to the same event that Rick was just talking about when the UNH president was here. And it was one of my, at the very beginning of my tenure on the board. And I could not have been more impressed with not only you, Mr. Enright, but your students. We expect the teacher to speak professionally and profoundly, but the students and how they dressed, how they carried themselves, how they spoke about the program. It was one of my first interactions at this school, sitting on the school board, and I could not have been more proud. And I would love if there were so many more programs that we see here that are taking off, and that if more would take off, because this is exactly like Micah said. This is what makes Sanborn special, and this is what makes us different. So thank you for being part of that story and part of that inspiration. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So much. All right.
Now, I was gonna say, next up is the heavy stuff.
I know. Okay, so now we move on to Intervention Power Pack presentation by Southern Rockingham County Coalition for Health Youth. Charlotte.
So
Yes, so rock. I was trying to read it all out so everybody knew what the acronym stood for, but got caught up there.
I'm Charlotte Scott. I'm the program director for the Southern Rockingham Coalition for Healthy Youth, otherwise known as SOROC. And although it wasn't what I originally came up here for, I just want to say a huge thank you to the seminary trustees for allowing us to let the students unpack their own data. The Getting to Why program is a fabulous opportunity to harness the nothing for them without them. So the kids will have the opportunity to take subsets of their own YRBS data, unpack it, kind of get to the bottom of it, and figure out solutions on how to address those issues in their own community. And it's not, Jim's got me all choked up. It's not just some statistic they're hearing about another area. It's their own results. And what's further exciting is that one of our new middle school counselors has an extensive history with the Getting to Why program. So we will be able to engage and involve our middle school youth group in collaboration with our high school youth group. And that will create some cross sharing and create more of a feed for our high school program. So that's great. I don't have my Sorry, it's been a long day.
Okay, I do that too.
So the real reason that I'm here tonight is just to propose that we kind of seize the moment when we have an opportunity with a student potentially under the influence when they're in school. So we had a grant from the Seacoast Public Health Network to allow us to get some resources for our communities. And one of the things that I purchased was some testing kits. Originally, the plan was just marijuana testing, so THC testing, because that is a very prominent issue right now. But it was less expensive to get a multi-test. So that's what we did. But the idea behind this is really just to get information on speaking to your child in the moment. A lot of parents, they have to come in and have to pick up their student who's suspected of being under the influence, and emotions are running high. We don't want them walking out the door and freaking out. If we can, get some solutions and some practical conversation skills to those parents and some next steps that they can take. The testing kit is kind of an add-on. The resources going out to the parents in the moment of the issue is really the goal here. Whether or not the school wants to have the parents use a testing kit in the moment to say, prove they're not under the influence, to avoid a suspension or whatever. That's something we can work out with administration on that process. But the contents of the bag are really there to make sure we harness the moment with the families and to ensure that we're not letting an opportunity be missed to get those important resources and skills into the household where there might be an issue. Everything in the bag is customizable. So that's just a sample of the things that we put in each bag. I did put an open kit in there as well, so you could see the contents of it. And that's just a saliva test. And that would be parent administered, so there would be no school district involvement, legality, liability, anything like that. So the parent would come in, and if they chose to test their child in that moment, then that is a longer conversation that we'd have with administration as to what happens next, depending on the results of that test. But regardless of the test, again, we just want to get resources into the hands of families when they're in a crisis situation. So I don't know if anyone has any questions.
I just like to make a comment. When Charlotte brought this to me, I just said, Jen Mitchison, the principal of the high school, and I spoke, and we felt that if we were going to offer these to families, that the board should be aware and approve that we're offering them. So what would happen is if a student has suspected drug use, the parents are offered the pack for free and they don't have to take it, but it would be available to them. And we wanted, again, like we always do, we want things to be transparent in public. So we wanted this on a board agenda so that it's approved and adopted by the board, so that the parents in the community are aware that number one, it's free. And number two, it's optional. You're not required to take it. We are not going to be drug testing students at school. We are not requiring that anyone use these.
No.
But they are available free of cost to families that would like to have them.
And just to note, we have additional resources that we can add to them, like medication disposal pouches, locking medicine containers, as they're available. Those can be added to the kits too. So things can be locked up in the home if there's suspected substance use.
And Charlotte, I wanted to thank you for your work. It means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you for your collaboration. It means a lot to us.
Your help. Yep.
Heather?
As a mental health counselor, I think that the better, there are so many new drugs coming out. Our kids are at a very high risk of these drugs that are coming out every day. So any information we can give families and give them and point them in the right direction. I mean, I love the QR code one that you have in there.
Yeah, we just got that in. That's one of the projects we did with that grant.
I just think this is incredible, and I'm glad that you clarified we're not drug testing, because that was the only thing that I was a little worried about.
Well, and the test can go home
Yeah.
with the family. It's just, it's for them. It's available. It's there. Whether or not we use it in the moment or have them use it in the moment, again, is
But I think
completely up to.
But I do think some parents would want it. I get parents ask me all the time, like, where can I get them? How can I get them? So I think this is great. And I thank you for all your work that you do for our community.
Right back at you.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, I think this is great, and I'll tell you why. I went, and it's basically because of your husband. Chris Bashall is a sheriff, right? And he made me aware of this trailer that that was over in Exeter. And it was basically, I don't know if you remember this a few years ago, and I didn't have teenage kids, right?
Mock bedroom.
Yeah, the mock bedroom. And I figured, like, I'm pretty smart. Like, no, my kid isn't gonna fool me on anything. And I walked in that mock bedroom, and all the places where you can hide stuff and things I didn't even think about. And that was I think it was before COVID.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
So,
We're actually having trouble finding the trailer now.
oh yeah.
We were discussing it in a meeting today.
Yeah,
and we-
I mean, it was just eye-opening and shocking at
Yeah.
the same time. So I think, thank you for the work you do. I think the more work we can do to help parents and help our children, the better. So,
We also have naloxone kits, free overdose prevention kits that we give out for free to the community and to families. The reason that's even more important right now is because of the fake pills that are out there. So there's a lot of fentanyl laced Adderall and Ativan, all of the things that a kid might say they want to try one of.
And they're 1 of 4. If anyone's seen the 1 of 4 campaign.
Yeah.
So fentanyl and xylazine are in almost everything. And
Right. Any street drugs or anything purchased. The street is now the internet, just so you know. So it's not like anyone's going to a street corner. So what's happening is kids are buying this stuff on Snapchat with emojis, and they get a bottle of pills, and God only knows what's in the pills that are in that bottle, but they look exactly like the real deal. The manufacturers have the pill presses. So basically my point was, we're not just giving Narcan to families with somebody with a known substance use disorder. We're giving them to middle school families to keep in the junk drawer in case they walk in and find a child unresponsive. There was just an issue in New York. I don't know if anyone saw that on the news with a daycare. That's how potent fentanyl is. So we just want to get things to families. Hopefully, if their child has just started with a THC product, then we can get out ahead of it and get them some treatment options or resources and our information so that we can help get them additional resources if what they need isn't in the bag.
So I was just asking for a motion to approve allowing this high school to distribute those free of charge and at the parent's option
Through the nurse.
through the nurse. Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, roll call. Oh, Ken, did you have anything? Sorry.
Nope. Nope.
Okay. Roll call. Heather?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Yes.
Rick? Jeremiah? Maura?
Yes.
Micah?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thanks. All right, approval of check signers.
All right, annually, we have to approve, people who sign the checks of the school district. And it's, according to school board policy DIH. And, the individuals that are going to be, signing checks are going to be Ron Brickett, who's our treasurer, and it's for all accounts, including operations and student activity funds. Phyllis Kennedy, deputy treasurer, for all accounts, including operations and student activity funds. Jen Mitchinson, who's the principal of the high school, for student funds. Nicole O'Brien, assistant principal for the high school, for the student activity funds and athletic funds. Matt Malila, who's the principal for the middle school, for student activity funds. Jason Trafton, assistant principal for the middle school for the student activity funds. Eric Larkham, the principal for the Memorial Elementary School and the student activity funds there. Meredith Devine, the assistant principal for Memorial Elementary School and for student activity funds. Beth Childs, the principal for DJ Bakey Elementary School for student activity funds. And finally, Lauren Caffell, for assistant principal at DJ Bakey Elementary School for student activity funds.
Great.
And I'm going to ask for a motion to approve.
All right, and for our newer members, this is something we do every year. Standard operating procedure, nothing new, nothing out of the ordinary. This is how we keep things running. So. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to remove the signing, the approval of check signers.
Great.
For the
Second.
district.
Great. All right, any discussion? All right, roll call. Heather?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jeremiah?
Yes.
Maura?
Yes.
Micah?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, second public comments.
All the people.
Okay, no old business. Next Sanborn Regional School Board meeting will be a joint board meeting with Fremont School Board, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023 at 6:00 p.m. in this Sanborn Regional High School Library. And the next Budget Committee meeting will be held on Thursday, September 28th, 2023 at 7:00 p.m. right here also, library at the Sanborn Regional High School. Somebody want to call us into non-public?
Did you say September 28th?
That's what it says, Thursday, September 28th.
Mine says
September
the
21.
21st.
Mine says the 21st.
Oh,
Courtney sent out.
Oh.
It says tomorrow is for submission of information by Tom, but the next meeting is 20.
Oh, okay.
sorry, I got the
Sorry.
updated,
No,
I
so
got the
you said it.
updated version.
You said it right. Okay.
All right, anyone want to call us into non-public?
Move us into non-public per RSA 91-A:3 Roman numeral 2 CK.
All right, roll call in.
Need a second.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry. Second. Thank you, Mike.
All right, roll call in. Heather?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jeremiah?
Yes.
Maura?
Yes.
Micah?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Right, quick 5-minute break.
Yes.
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 Unanimous.